snow-white plain stretches out scores of infinite miles. I raise my head, and despite the leaden clouds hanging so low I could reach out and touch them, I can see Iran and Athir shining grimly through the dense cover of the obscure sky. The wind howls mournfully through my ears and through my hair, which is longer than usual, causing it to flap in impotent fury. I lift my hand to remove the annoying strands from my face, then stand still, heavy and silent, like an archaic monument. A huge mountain looms in the very edge of the hopeless, cold expanse. I bite my finger, already accustomed to having the strength to do so. It never works, but I'm stubborn. I lick the warm blood. On closer inspection, I can just about see the subtle rhythmic movements on the mountainside. I feel like if I stare long enough, I will be able to see the twitching and stirring on the slopes of the outcast monument. I can't get a clear view, but I strain my eyes and eventually catch a momentary glimpse in which the medley of pale yellows that make up the mountain come into focus, and I see that it is completely littered with something vile, acting with fish spawn, as can be often seen in the bloated carp belly during spawn season. Only this spawn is hundreds, no thousands of times larger, and I can see quite clearly now that more and more are oozing out of the mouth of the volcano, sliding down, pressing, pushing, and burying those that came before them. I start to make my way forward. At the same time, the thick white snow begins to fall from the somber clouds. I'm dressed in only pajamas. It's cold. Dodgily, I move my feet in the warm woolen socks. The mountain approaches slowly, but even through the snow, I can make out more detail now. I think I see something lying at the foot of the mountain, spewing forth these mysterious eggs. A layer has formed at its base. It is still too far away, so I pick up the pace, almost running. No need to conserve energy. The wind has subsided and icy vertical snowfall forms a white carpet underfoot. I can't feel my toes and the frozen earth is doing nothing to help warm me up. That's it. Now I'm close enough to satisfy my curiosity. Many of the yellowish translucent eggs erupting from the belly of the volcano are empty. Many, but not all. In others I see bodies, people, hairless, naked, fragile. But they are not the reason why I shudder. Practically choking in horror, I realize that the layer at the foot of the mountain is entirely formed from the very same bodies, sliding from the vent in their fish spawn bubbles, a scrapyard of defenseless flesh. I move closer. I shudder again, hit by another wave of disgust. Many of the bodies are not fully formed. Some of them lack an arm or a leg. Others are missing a good half of their body. Cripples. Some appear to have no bones and lie on the frozen ground like amorphous jelly. Not all of them are dead either. Half of them are still moving. They are dying in terrible agony, moaning, reaching their hands out towards me, begging for something without knowing what. Boys and girls no older than 15 winters, skin gleaming despite the gloomy weather. It means they are the grapes, just like me. For some reason, I begin to stubbornly make my way forward through the hideous jumble of living and dead bodies, many of which are already beginning to decompose into stardust. More and more weak hands try to grab at me. Pleading eyes seek my gaze. I do not look. There is a whistling sound in my ears, which at first I assume is the rising, harshening wind. Somewhere in the distance, lilting bells begin to ring, and suddenly there is no air, and I run fast as I can. My woolly socks slipping over the limp piles of corpses scattered throughout the valley. I trample their feet like bunches of ripe grapes. Finally, I get away, leaving a thin chain of black footsteps behind me on the white virgin field. Then another frail hand grabs me by the leg, and I let out a long scream. In anguish, I find myself at home, on bed sheets, sodden with cold sweat. The eternal companion of my visions, returning, is unbearably painful. Frustrated and morally and physically exhausted after this grim excursion, it is a long time before I return back to my senses. This is not the first dream in which I have run through this field. only to have a hand stop me at the last moment. Afterwards, I always toss and turn late into the night, and those mysterious bells ring out in my mind, mocking me.